Welcome in to the Toyota Lounge for the DNVR Avalanche podcast, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. It is day 2, or rather it was day 2 of Colorado Avalanche Dev Camp. It's kind of over now.
Yeah.
So, still same day, I guess. It's still day 2.
I learned from Susie Hunter on the Rockies show last night that there's a debate about whether you're standing on line or in a line.
In.
I have never heard anybody say on a line before, and that's so weird to me, but it's the same kind of question of, is it still day 2? Even though the on-ice activities ended, is it still technically day 2?
I guess.
It's not day 3. So if it's not day 2 and if it's not day 3, then what is it?
Off time.
Okay, but there's a void there in between them.
Sure.
All right.
But like...
We're off to a great start.
Your work day is over at 5 p.m. if you work a normal job. Like,
it was still a work day.
it was a work day, but it's over. The work day is over now, and there's still the rest of the day.
I have to consider this more.
Either way, I'm
unconvinced.
I'm definitely not on work day 2.
Yeah. Are you serious? What are off days?
Stand in a line, not on a line.
This is my 18th straight day working.
You should take a day off.
Saturday, brother.
I know.
Saturday.
No, it was another Dev Camp day. There were at least like some pseudo game situations to see today, so that was interesting.
Yeah, way better than yesterday.
There were still a lot of drills, especially in the early morning sessions today, but you know, some interesting stuff to get into at the very least. I want to start with these because I, personally don't have very much to say at all, and I imagine us as a group won't have a ton to say about it, but anything to say about the goalies today?
Yeah, Eric's guy, Cloutier, incredible day for him. He was so... I'm sorry. I'm not going to do a bit. I don't want his family to think I'm making fun. No, we were... With the goalies, like, it's so tough to tell.
Yeah.
The only one that I have real confidence in is there are 2 guys they should not be giving contracts to yet.
Sure.
They're not ready.
I
don't want to bury a guy. But
no, yeah. I don't think they're there to get contracts, though. They're just there. Yeah.
But I feel... Can color me intrigued by Cloutier.
Yeah.
Sure.
When we finally got into some like hockey-ish things, I felt better about him than I did yesterday, which I was like, who cares?
He's 17 years old. That's crazy. I mean, it's
really
young kid going back to USHL, then Chicago. Good spot for him. Then he's going to Omaha, Nebraska, right? So, great kid, nice kid, really sharp. Soaking it all in. You know, he really is nice. Like I said, nice kid. I mean, there's guys there like Nublis is 25. He's 17. He's 8 years older than Cloutier. You know,
Matt Davis is 23.
Yeah, so he's 19, 20, 21. No, yeah, exactly. He's a young kid, you know. So they'll be fine, you know. The other guys are there just to see you get your hands on them and just to see what you have. As we all know, I mean, they drafted 3 and all, 2 are here. One is here, Cloutier. We're just talking about it. 2 of them are not here. Europeans.
And one of those poor kids had to face Colby Ambrosio in the breakaway drill they did at the end of the day. So, tough day for that kid.
Yeah. Wallstrom.
I don't even want to like knock on the kid. It's just like, hey, our last drill today is breakaways, and this guy is like his 5th dev camp. So good luck.
Yeah, Ambrosio was really good at it. He was really good at it, and like by like the 3rd or 4th goal, you're starting to feel bad for the guys in net. Where you're like, he's embarrassing these guys.
Yep.
Because he was just, it was a thing that he's good. Ambrosio's got great hands.
Yep, no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's smaller. His situation at BC changed so much.
Yep.
His first couple of years, the good ice, as Eric would say. They recruited about half of the first round picks over the last 2 years. That good ice went away. He got shit ice.
You get the shit burger ice. It's tough.
And he's a guy that he's a skill guy. He needs to play a little bit of a skill game and couldn't do that at BC anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him going to University of Miami, Ohio.
He's going with his old coach that was at Tri-Cities.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, but what that guy does, well, he's got great hands. Yeah. He's good offensively, and those poor goaltenders learned that the hard way. It was fun to watch. It sucked that we were on like an extreme side, so we couldn't see the other end very well. But the side we were on got lit up.
Pew, 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 pew.
Lit up.
Yep. It was a shooting gallery, to say the least, but that's literally what it was designed to be. So there is that on the goalie side of things. The other thing, before we start getting into the guys we liked and all that whatnot, both Torrey Pittner and Jake Fisher were at camp and fully participated today. So
yep.
Nice to see a couple more guys from this most recent draft class step onto the ice and do some things. Any thoughts on those two?
Yes. So Pittner, we watched a lot of.
Earlier session,
yeah. He's smaller than I thought he would be, just his listed height. Sure. I don't know. A defenseman that's listed at 6'1", I don't know that I've ever looked at him and felt like, God, he looks kind of small.
Did not look 6'1", for sure.
Yeah, well, and Boston Buckburger is listed at 5'11", and I'm like, Buckburger looks like he would maul that kid.
Did they just swap their heights on
right.
accident?
Like it definitely felt like they were backwards, just perception-wise. It might be because Buckburger wears a big old shoulder pads.
Gigantic pads.
It looks like he's bulked up quite a bit more, but Pittner, I liked him a lot.
Me too.
He's really raw.
Yeah.
USHL. You didn't draft a guy in the 6th round thinking that you're a year away from an NHL player.
It's true.
You're not, but I think that there are things there that I like today, and especially when they got into hockey situations.
Brain turns on.
Yeah, he was really good with that stick defensively and breaking up a couple of the defensive drills that he got involved in.
Yeah, I really liked him too. I mean, obviously the in-game situations, the smartness and intelligence is what he was billed as. But I really, Eric, I know you kind of disagree here, but I thought his skating was fine. You know, it's not going to send you to the moon. It's not amazing or anything, but for a guy where you're wondering about that skating ability on the back end, it didn't bother me. I think it was good enough that it works.
No, I wasn't saying he was a bad skater. I'm saying he's a little wobbly.
You said there's some clunkiness.
Yeah, he's a little wobbly, which is fine. He's going to grow into his body. He's a young kid. I mean, that's...
Well, what? No summer skating excuse for him?
It's summer. It is. I'm really not familiar with his game, you know what I mean? But looking at, there's two parts to this, right? There's the skill part. So they do some skills and, anybody can look good in the skill drill, right? You know, you're going against a tire. No, anyone can look good. That doesn't mean everybody looks good.
There are some guys who don't.
No, there's some guys that they'll chop up a puck and kill the cone and whatever apparatus is out there, they'll just ruin it. You know what I mean?
There were a couple out there that did not seem to understand that the point was to go around the tire.
Yeah.
And so treated the tire like it was a brick wall.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, you're just, there's some guys that can't do that, and then when the puck drops in a game, they can't play. You know what I mean? Or there's guys that really can't go well around a tire, but when the puck drops and there's real players out there, and then actually can play. You know what I mean? So it's like, I take the skills part like as sure he's got nice skills or he doesn't have. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We're all saying the same thing.
Same caveat as the show yesterday.
Yeah. No.
Take all of this with a gigantic grain.
That's what I'm saying. Some guys will shine. Like I always say that. Like kids that get private lessons at 6 a.m. and they're freaking unreal. You know what I mean? Like awesome. But in a real game, like the cone actually fights back. You know what I mean? With a stick,
Damn.
the cone becomes someone with a heartbeat. And
That's poetic, Eric.
It's crazy. Like it's a
The cone fights back.
Yeah, it's a crazy concept, and I know that's why I'm intelligent.
Damn.
No, but it's
Story of Jack Johnson.
yeah, no, so you're out there, and then there's two parts. I mean, the other part is okay collectively a little bit as it did, which I liked, and that's why you guys like not the flow drills, because actually those flow drills, I thought they were gonna bust that drill, and I think Prater was on the board for like 30 minutes, but whatever. Or was that Ray? Or it might have been Ray. But I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a shit show. You know what I mean?
I got a picture of the board. Check out our Twitter. You can see it's a little confusing.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know if they're gonna get it. It was actually a simple drill, so he might have just explained a few drills. That's why. But anyway, those are flow drills. Then there's small area games that we saw.
Yeah.
That last part, which makes it more fun, makes it more like hockey. You know what I mean? Like it's, you can see if someone has hockey sense or if somebody can play collectively, with other people and not just be the mean guy in the sandbox with, oh, those are my toys. You know what I mean? Like you're playing actually with teammates, and so it's kind of nice. Yeah, here's the board, and then and then there's a scrimmage tomorrow, right? Which it's like, okay, it's full ice. It's not small area games, 4-on-4, whatever it is. I don't even know what the format is, but
4-on-4.
4-on-4.
Which is nice. It used to be 3-on-3.
And 3-on-3 was fun, but you're not taking a ton out of it.
I mean, it's just breakaway after breakaway.
It was fun. I liked it.
I didn't like it at all.
All right.
I mean, whatever. So
It was fun when Newhook destroyed it.
So you're getting a little bit of everything, and that's why you're right. Bruto just said it. You don't go nuts and go get a jersey at the freaking team store of whatever, Ambrosio or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
It would
using
be
an
Marek
example.
Hejduk's jersey that you're buying based on, if you're looking at only drills.
Yeah. I love Hedgie. But that's what I'm saying. It is development camp, and you take it for its, again, the ones that are getting the most out of this is not so much management, it's the kids, the players themselves, right? Because if they're sponges that they want to get better, and I was talking to Biller today, and obviously goalies have their own practice and their own, working on specific drills, but they also have off ice every day this week with goalies, and that's where Biller, because he's old like me, he's not going on the ice, but he takes care of the classroom, and Frankie takes care of the ice, and with Bacher and those guys, but so they get a lot out of it away, from the ice. They get a lot out of how to conduct yourself when and if you're going to go to a camp one day, a real camp, and to leave an impression, and a real training camp, and so it's a lot. It's good for the kids, makes them feel better about themselves, and wherever they go, if you're an invite, if you're a first rounder, they take this stuff that they've learned this week and they put it in their own summer stuff, and then their own teams come September, and very important. And you're polishing your game, your career, and you want to make sure you hear that expression all the time: act like a pro, be a pro, and it starts right here because this is a pro camp. You know what I mean? So it's run by, and then you go back to your junior team or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, shoot, maybe we should change this. So that's why I say it's good if you're a leader, you can make rules like we were just talking about Gabe and stuff, like putting some rules in there for as a captain, you can do the same thing in frickin' junior hockey, right? You go back and you make rules, and hey, I learned this at Dev Camp over there. This is what we do. We should do this. You know what I mean? And it's important to act like a pro. And Cal Ritchie probably, again, I'm not the guy that's going to say he's going back to juniors. I'm not going to be the guy that says he's going to stay here. I've told you my Ryan O'Reilly story, so I'm never going to go back and say, oh, this guy's going back to juniors. It's going to dictate itself, like in August, September, right? His play is, and then maybe they'll be like, oh crap, maybe we had penciled him in to be in juniors, but actually we're going to need him here. We don't know that, right? I don't know. So we're not going to pencil guys in, but it's kind of nice that they're here, they're learning, and then they're able to go back and take that. Come the guys that are coming back, obviously, that are not college, or the guys that are going to be here in September, then you really get a leg up on what it's supposed to be like and feel like,
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we'll talk about Jake Fisher, the other new guy on the ice, as well as some of the kids that stood out at day 2 of Dev Camp in just a second here. But before we do, we are brought to you by Indeed. If you are hiring or looking to hire, Indeed is the place you got to get over to get everything set up for, honestly, the entire system of getting someone hired. Indeed has over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. You can ditch all of the busy work, use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about hiring people, but I don't need to know anything because Indeed can take care of pretty much everything you need when it comes to filtering out potential employees for your business. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And once you're all hired up, make sure you're getting your bet on with Circa Sportsbook. You can get in with Circa Sportsbook. Circa Sportsbook's not about all the frills and all the fanciness. They just want to give you the best lines on betting out there you can get. It's simple, straightforward. They've got all sorts of different options you can go with. For example, games will strive to be a -10 split on the Circa Sports menu, unlike other sports books, which will give you -115 or -120. And Circa keeps as little money as possible on large market bets. Circa doesn't limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. So you're unlimited to bet on what you like, even when you're on a hot streak when it comes to Circa. You can download the Circa Sportsbook app today at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. And if you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. The other new guy, Jake Fisher, stepped onto the ice today. That kid can shoot a puck. There was one drill where they put him and Christian Humphreys together on a collect the puck along the wall and send it to the middle to the guy. And they both just took turns absolutely bombing pucks into the back of the net. That was pretty fun for a drill.
Those guys can shoot. Those two guys in particular can shoot.
It was a fun drill there. But what else did we see in Fisher today?
That. I mean, it wasn't just that drill. It was every single drill in which he had an opportunity to shoot a puck.
Lasers.
It's clearly his standout skill.
For sure.
And, he's a good, smart defensive center.
He had a couple of nice poke checks up high in those battle drills for sure.
I want to see him in a game situation to see how it all translates. The skating's a serious problem.
It's not good.
Those are bad boots.
Where was he again? Fisher is that? He's going to DU, but where was he again?
Somewhere in the USHL?
Yeah, I'm drawing a total blank.
Me too, I'm having a blank. I knew it was in the USHL, but...
I will tell you in
Fargo.
30 seconds.
Yeah, he was in Fargo.
You're right.
Golly, it took me way too long to get there. Good. He was really good for them. We just we saw what he has to offer. Why he was of interest to the Avalanche. Good size, smart player, defensively responsible. Watching some of his USHL stuff, he's got a physical element to his game, but it's about his shooting.
For sure.
You get him anywhere near a shooting lane, he could wire a puck, and especially that one timer.
So that's his number one attribute, right? On the scouting
absolutely.
report.
And his worst attribute easily is his skating. It's a serious issue.
You can work on that. I mean, how much are you going to correct it? I don't know, but you certainly can get stronger, bigger, which can help your skating, right? But when the mechanics are different, I don't know if it's a strength thing or it's a mechanic thing. You know what I mean? I'll look more at him tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's hard to tell when you just like, you know.
Right. A guy that has some clunky skating, all of a sudden you put him in a game and he makes it work sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Connor Timmins, one of the all-time clunky skaters that you put him in a game and it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, smart players, right?
Yep.
Know how to get where they need to be.
Yep.
Helps.
Don't have to be that fast if you're already there.
Yeah. And with Fisher, like, a lot of this is going to come in his defensive ability.
For sure.
But the shot is going to help him a lot because it's going to give him something on offense that you can look at and say, that's an NHL skill.
Does he have a spot at DU or does he like...
I have no idea about their lineup construction.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend to know where all the invites and guys
Yeah.
they've given lineup spots to that aren't abstract.
But he is going to DU. He's not
He
going
is
back.
going to
Yeah.
DU.
Correct.
He's
He
not
and
going back.
he and Pittner are roommates.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
classes started. or whatever.
Adorable.
They had class yesterday. Can I just add something to somebody on Twitter, Gman96 asked me, and instead of answering, because we all know how terrible I am at using Twitter, but he said, development camp, I assume these are open to personnel of the team, hosting them only. No, it's not. Like if you were working for Avs, would you be able to go watch someone at Sharks or Ducks development camp if you had interest in them? It's a good question. It's a very, very good question, you know. So Gman96, I'm answering to you instead of writing it because we all know I can't write. Yes, you can, you know. There's people at Family Sports today. There's people at Family Sports yesterday. There's people at Family Sports tomorrow. Yeah, it does happen quite a bit. Sometimes you do get an invite to a guy. Like I want to invite Rudo, but the Sharks invited him to, and the Ducks invited him, and then Rudo decides to go to the Ducks and doesn't want to go to Colorado, whatever it is, for whatever reason, you know. So you have an interest in him, but he didn't come to your camp, you know. Yep. And it's like, oh, okay, if he's a junior guy, maybe you need him for rookie camp, you know. So you keep dibs and keep tabs on him, whatever you call that. And then I used to always tell kids at Avs development camp too, someone's always watching. That's the reality of the National Hockey League. Like, someone's always watching when you're at the restaurant. And I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm saying, but you are, you know what I mean? Like, you got to represent yourself, like, with the right manner. And somebody's always watching. You wouldn't know. They could be the hotel lobby person, and you think you're cool, and it's 2 a.m, and you're a complete sausage to the person at the front. And that is just not right. You know what I mean? But you know what? He's actually knows somebody in the organization real well. I mean, just be nice to people. And on the ice, same thing. The number one thing that when I was in the American League and when I was working with the Avs, we always told the American League guys is, if it doesn't work here, make it work somewhere else. That's okay. That's okay, and that's why we're going to develop you, because you know what? If we feel you're not good and for a good fit for our lineup, you're an asset for us. We're going to trade you somewhere to go get an asset. So it's important to develop, and if it's not good for your own team, then it could be for somewhere else. And yeah, so you are allowed to go watch, and I mean, there could have been a freaking Chicago Blackhawks guy there today. You wouldn't know. I mean, he's just there having a freaking dipping dots in the stands and, like sitting there, and you don't know who he is.
Yeah, it was Kotkov a couple of years ago, went to Avs dev camp and then ended up going to San Jose.
That was the one I was trying to think of.
And he ended up getting signed. It didn't really work out, but...
I mean, you're allowed.
Yeah.
You're allowed to go see. I mean, Avs practices usually it's rare that they're shut down to the public. I mean... Maybe in playoffs even? I've never seen that. Yeah, exactly. Mm-mm. Now, again, easier to get into family sports than it is to go to practice at Ball Arena. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, so if they're practicing at Ball Arena, then it's a little tougher. But, yeah, I mean, you can always look at why not? Yeah. When I was on the road, like, scouting for a team, whatever it is, like, if I had a day off there, I didn't sit in my hotel room. I'd go right to their practice ring, watch their practice. Why not? Yep. You get to see how guys interact within each other at practice. You get to see how he is dealing with, what's his pace at in practice? What's his, how's the guy? Why not? It's free. It's free info. Why wouldn't you take it? You're not doing anything illegal. You're not spying. You're
watching a player.
Why not? Good question. Off topic, but good question.
No. I like the answer. It was good. So, besides the new guys, who's your top pick from today's Dev Camp Day?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Sean Behrens. I watched a lot of the defensemen really closely today, and especially in some of the D drills.
Yep.
And then at the end in the
5-on-5, whatever that was,
like 8-on-8 that they were
Double
doing.
nets,
I really,
it was
small area game.
Yeah, it was wild as shit. I watched a lot of Sean Behrens, and he's the most polished player there.
For sure. I agree with that.
His skating, everything about his skating is really good. I don't think it's
a lead or anything.
At the moment, it's probably not as good as it's going to need to be for him to be a long-time NHL player at his size.
Sure.
That's one of my concerns with him. I don't know how much better it's going to get. But the edge work, the balance, his transition, all of it is really smooth, sure-footed. I like he plays with his head up. He's going through those drills.
Yep.
He's not looking down to see where the tire is. He's not trying to figure it out. It's all confident. Like he's done this 1,000 times. And he has. That's experience. That's age. And to see his level, I thought his level came up from yesterday where I liked him yesterday, but I loved him today. And so with Behrens, and God, the guy is so good with the stick. And anytime somebody gets him in a small area,
yep,
very comfortable in that environment, and I'm really ready to see him in game situations because again, there's only so much that you can take from this. Again,
sure.
We're talking about this on an extremely granular level.
Yep,
but the little things about Behrens today, I really, really liked.
I will say, nice breakout work too. Not that this is difficult breakout work. He's got all the time in the world when they're running drills up and down the ice. But there are guys here that can't make that tape-to-tape 80-foot pass, and Behrens was fully capable of it.
One of my favorite examples of just seeing what it looks like was Kevin Shattenkirk's first camp, where they come rolling in, and we're watching all these years of shitty defensemen that the Avalanche had drafted and had brought to camps, and you're looking through gray areas here where you're like, all right, well, there's this. And
the Avs were late to that transition of puck moving defensemen. They had drafted the bigger guys for a long time.
But it was like there's this guy, and he can do this, and this is fine.
Yeah.
Then Kevin Shattenkirk gets on the ice, and
just
he just fires one
pucks.
outlet pass, perfect. It's a bullet,
and
tape to tape, and you're like, okay, that's useful to know.
Yep.
That's what that is supposed to look like. And with Sean Behrens, there was a lot of this is what it's supposed to look like.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, you watch a practice like that, you got a mixed bag of stuff, right? So you got the Sean Behrens that's a little more polished.
Yeah.
That's playing in national champion DU program, which they do a good job there. They do. I'll give them praises, right? The coaching staff's excellent. So you can tell the practice of the pace of practices are more up to snuff, more up to NHL level. Where you get a little junior kid that it's his first development camp, and that's the big difference. You watch a practice like today, and then you put a Monday practice, non-game day during the season of the Avalanche, and you're like, oh, whoa, what a friggin' difference, right? It's the pace. It's your passes are on the tape. They're hard. They're crisp. There's a big difference. You know what I mean? Because it's like we always say, being an NHL player is because your habits are good. Usually, you've mastered the stuff of skating and passing on pucks on the tape. Guys find sticks they just at the NHL level, and it's fast, and you can see that's a big adjustment for a junior kid that comes, because it's like, oh crap, you miss your pass, and then you're like, oh man, oh whoa, you know what I mean? Because the pace is so fast, and right now they're passing to another development kid the big difference passing it to McKinnon when he's flying 100 miles an hour with a stick in the air. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, holy shnikes, you're panicking, right? You know? So that's what you got to get used to. That's what you got to get, you know, and it looks like Sean has done a good job with that at DU. And then, you know, he's a little more mature with his game, a little more polished than, you know, a kid that's there for the first time. And that's why they're there, you know, to realize where they're at. You know what I mean? Where am I at as a player with my skills and my, you know, my practice habits? And so Sean, it sounds like he's on the right path.
He also had one, he took a pass from somebody. It was a hard pass, and he mishandles it a little.
He's able to recover. Yeah.
It tips off of his stick, and he kicks it to his foot in one motion right back to his stick, and he doesn't break pace at all.
Doesn't upset his momentum. Yeah.
Those are like little things where you're like, hey, like you need to be able to have that in the bag. And that was cool.
Yep. All right, coming up, we'll hear from a couple of players at Avalanche Dev Camp, and there's one specific conversation I want to have. But before we get into that, make sure you're grabbing yourself a Coors Light chillaxin' on July 4th. Setting off some fireworks or just enjoying the show. Maybe you're doing a drone show. My mom went to a drone show the other day. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool some of the stuff they can do with that. It would be cooler if you have a Coors Light in your hand. Maybe literally, if the mountains are turned blue. They'll be nice and cold for you. Go get yourself a Coors Light. It's the beer I reach for when I want to chill. Make sure you're getting in with them. Make the most of the times you choose to chill. You don't even have to go get it, even though that's what I say. You can get it delivered right to your front door with Instacart, thanks to CoorsLight.com/DNVR, and it lets them know we sent you over there. So celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And once you got your Coors on hand, make sure you're making smart money moves with Westera Credit Union. 9 different locations here in Colorado. They've been around for 90 years here in Colorado, so they kind of know what they're doing. They've got smart money checking. This new account gives you up to 6% annual percentage yield on your first $2,000 each month. And as your balance grows, so does your potential to unlock additional great rates for higher balances. It's the same as saving $120 per year off the rip. They also have a rewards debit card with no monthly or maintenance fees and so much more for you to earn rewards. If you like earning money by doing the things you are already doing with your money, go visit westeracu.com/smartmoney for more details. Membership eligibility required, insured by NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Eric, I wanted to ask you about this because you've been in the game. I'm sure you've had some conversations or you've seen guys have conversations like this. In the full team practice, Jared Bednar pulls Cal Ritchie to the side, to the opposite bench, and has a talk to him for about 10 minutes. I don't know what that conversation is about. I'm sure you don't know the exact details, but what's going on there? Is that a conversation between hey, you're one of the top prospects in this organization and I might be your future head coach? Is that hey, these are the skills that we think you need to work on? What is that conversation?
Well, very simple. Like that, I'll make fun of coaches here. Not necessarily Jared, but anybody. You see them at the draft, and it's so funny because they're so disinterested. You know, I mean, they're just sitting there at the table, and they have nothing to do with the draft, and that's not what they do, right? But they're just there because it's important for whoever they select to shake their hands, and and hey, this is the head coach, and that the kid all of a sudden leaves the draft, and he's like, oh, I shook Bednar's hand, and that's my goal. I want to be an Avalanche. And I think it's important to set the thing straight from the get-go. But a coach that's there usually is like, besides like the Celebrini or Bedard last year, and the guy's coming to, I'm going to get my hands on this guy. Bednar doesn't really get hands on these guys till much later, and then the shelf life of a coach in the National Hockey League is 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is. Bednar's a little different. He's been here 8 now, so it's a little different, which is awesome. I like that. I like continuity. But so when he sees guys at the draft like that, he's really, he's like, this is years down the road. Like I'm not gonna, see this guy. And then obviously we all know the story of Ritchie. Last year he's unable to participate in camp, and I'm talking about regular camp, and So I think this is a situation today where it's kind of cool that the Avs coaches are on the ice for those development guys. It's awesome. And it shows that they care and all that kind of stuff. And so I think all that was today, it's more like, all right, I'm going to take 5 minutes here when the Zamboni's going on and let the ice sit and check in with them in a different environment. And coaches will always talk to players. If you look throughout the season, like they'll always skate around and then they'll find a guy and then they talk to them skating around. And sometimes it's to tell them they're going to be a scratch, or sometimes to tell them like, hey, you're about to be a scratch, or sometimes it's about just checking in, right? It's a great place when you're just skating around to talk to players. And so I think this one, it's like, hey, listen, you pick Behrens. Like, I probably would pick Ritchie. Like, he's that far ahead of all the other guys that are here. You know what I mean? And it's like, he's that much closer to being a full-time NHL player. So when you're an NHL coach and you're there, and with his situation, Ritchie not being around, really, then you take a few moments like that, make him feel good about himself, and give him the confidence. I was just talking about that 5 minutes ago about this is what development camp is. You know, grab a little something. So maybe he saw something earlier. He's just talking to him. Hey, in that drill there, maybe if you try to use your guy coming on the far side more, whatever. I'm saying something stupid right now, but it's make the guy feel good. How's the injury feel? Do you feel you have any issues last year? Because it's not like Jared Bednar talks to prospects during the season. He's got plenty to deal with the NHL club. You know what I mean? So, hey, how was it? Did it hold up pretty good, the injury? It felt good. Is it behind you? All right, well, you're going to have a big camp this year. And, right now, it's the NHL. Things change on a day-to-day basis. But, hey, you never know. Make us make decisions. 100% is what he told me. Make us make decisions. I think you got to be focused on coming back here and getting stronger this summer, because this is how you put on beef, is in the summer, right? And then let's see what happens in training camp. Let's, make us make decisions. And, if we're going to do what's right for you, whatever that is, and we'll do what's right for the Colorado Avalanche, whatever that is. And, then he gives him a little bit of boost, so no one, like, I don't know, is Bednar around tomorrow? I have no idea. Maybe not. You know what I mean? Then it's like, oh, okay. The guy that's closest to making my roster, the Avalanche, I got to make sure I give him a few minutes and make him feel good, and sometimes it's actually because he's not doing good, and it's like you need a little lesson from the head coach. Bob was masterful at that, Bob Hartley, and then just hey, wake up. You got the whole summer now, and don't be so stupid because you're not on the right path right now. I don't think that's the case with Ritchie. I think he's on the right path.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost not even worth getting into what Ritchie does on the ice, because he's, again, just the best guy here. It's very obvious that he's the most talented player on the ice.
I didn't watch him the rest of...
Because you don't need to.
Really at all today.
Yeah.
We saw him yesterday, and I was really trying to keep my eyes on some other guys. So.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I always say, is there hockey in Zimbabwe or whatever? No, right?
I mean, there's probably is, but...
Where is there a place on Earth where there's no hockey? Like, I don't know.
Antarctica.
Yeah, whatever. Perfect. You put a guy from there and you put him in the ring today and you go, hey, listen, are you a smart guy? The guy's like, yeah, I'm pretty smart. I'm not sure if he speaks English, but...
wouldn't be hard to pick out Ritchie, for sure.
Can you pick the best player here? He would pick it. It's that easy.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't take a skill to...
Him and Cloutier.
My guy. My boy.
Dev Camp Day 2 is kind of a weird day, because day 1, it's like, hey, everybody's here, this is fun. And then day 3, you get the actual, like, scrimmage or game or whatever you want to call it. Day 2, it's just a lot of guys practicing for the most part. Obviously, we're doing a show talking about it right now, but should we be? Is there really anything you can genuinely take away from a Dev Camp Day like this?
I think it's more... These Dev Camps are not about Cal Ritchie and Sean Behrens.
For sure.
They're more about Marek Heyduks.
Yep.
Guys that need looks in camps. Guys that need to try and get in front of somebody. Like, these are opportunities for those guys. Cal Ritchie was a first-round pick. As long as he's healthy, he's going to play in camp.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna play a preseason game or two here and there. A lot of the guys at this thing don't have contracts.
True.
They don't have an avenue to the NHL right now. This is their first step. A lot of them, it'll be the only step.
That's
but yes, I think the answer is yes. You can take things from this. We have seen Logan O'Connor is obviously the great success story.
Yep.
But Sage Weinstein got an ELC last year.
He did.
Came to one of these. Went to the rookie face-off in Vegas and got an ELC. Spends the next 2 years of his career. He just gets to play hockey freely. Doesn't have to worry about any of that.
Yep.
And then he turns pro. And we'll see how it goes from there. But all of that decision-making process about trying to get that guy on an ELC doesn't start at this camp because they got invited to the camp to begin with, so they were already identified as somebody.
Sort of conversation there, yeah.
But to continue to progress that, it starts here, and you have to do it every day.
Yep.
You can't, I was really good on day one. Great. Wonderful. Guys that are going to make an impression have to do it all 3 days.
True. Got to be consistent.
You got to make it all 3 days. You got to make it in the locker room. You got to make it at the stuff that they get class on. How to eat and nutrition and media relations and I'll say something stupid here. How easy are you to deal with about your plane ticket to get here and out? Like, are you that guy that's just a problem?
Sure.
I'm telling you, it's not just we were talking about the on ice, but it's the other stuff, that's then puts it all together, and then you're like, okay, we might have an asset here. You know what I mean? Like we might have something. They'll talk to the medical guys. Hey, how were they when they were, first of all, how's their base testing? They get base tested on, where they're at. And they're like, oh, wow, this guy's a well-conditioned athlete. Oh, wow, that's amazing. He's only 17. It's rare. Usually it takes them a few years to figure it out. Where's he at on, interacting with the doctors and all that stuff? Yeah, he was a great kid. Or, wow, he looks a little strange. He looks a little weird. It's like, not looks, but interacts strangely, and So I think everything's important. Everything you have a set of eyeballs, a bunch of eyeballs on you. You know what I mean? Like and you can tell. And some guys, they make friends in a couple days, and some guys can't. You know what I mean? Which is okay. You know what I mean? But it does help them if they're coming back and in training camp, now they know, Rudo, they know AJ, just a little easier. They know Tiff, So that's kind of, that's what it's for. Then you take all the information they cram into in a few days, right, about how to take care of your body, how to deal with stuff, and then you have a successful development camp. Whatever successful is, it leads to an ELC. Does it mean that it leads to maybe a contract next year? Does it lead to an invite to the main camp, right? You know what I mean? So it's kind of, you put everything together and then you measure your success, and everybody's success is measured differently because they're all at different stages of their careers, right? So,
yep.
It's particularly important for college guys.
Yep.
Because they're not allowed to go to training camp unless they have a contract.
Right.
If the Avs want to sign Matt Davis or Marek Hejduk, they have to do it now
before the camp.
Yeah, they have to do it. They have to do it after what they've seen this week,
or else they
go back to school, and they're not allowed to go to training camp. They're not allowed to do any of that. Hopefully, that changes in the coming years with the rules around the definitions of amateurism changing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it becomes a bigger part of the conversation in the CBA.
Yep.
The next time the CBA rolls around, and they make it a little easier for college kids to participate in those. But right now, they're not allowed unless they have that deal.
Yep.
So Matt Davis has to get a contract now. Hejduk's got to get a contract now.
Yep. Or
and
go back to school and do it again next year.
Exactly. But it's an all or nothing proposition. And this is a Right now, this is an organization that is extremely college heavy.
Yep.
So this invite list, it's full of college guys. There's not many CHL guys in comparison to how many college kids there are. Mm-hmm. So those guys, they just can't.
Just can't.
They can't do it. They can't kick the can down the road. It has to be now.
True. Decisions got to get made eventually. All right. We've talked a little bit about Hejduk as being one of those guys as a camp invite. We also did talk to him today. The audio on this one should be a little bit better, so hopefully you can actually hear Hejduk, but let's hear what he had to say, and if it's terrible, we'll just turn it off.
All right, I'm joined by Marek Hejduk at Avs Development Camp.
Okay, I guess it's not ready, so hold please for that interview. While we wait for it,
Day 2 for Hejduk.
the drills were good. Again, it did, I think, disappear a little bit more in some of the game situation stuff for sure.
Well,
but
this is the reality of Hejduk, right?
Yep.
Like, this is why he hasn't been drafted. It's why he's invited to this kind of camp, is that he hasn't been an overly productive college player.
True.
At this point in his career, it would be a real moonshot to give him a contract. But this gives him an opportunity to get in front of him and say, hey, let's see.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean
He's had a good camp. It's
Yeah.
been a good couple of days for him.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, you're right. The expectations are not to get a deal out of this camp for him. I think it's more. You take the week to put some more ammo, you know what I mean, in your arsenal and your, you know what I mean, like your repertoire, and then you're more ready to go back for your junior year at Harvard, right? Well, obviously he was an NCDP kid, and you know, didn't get the best ice there. You know what I mean? Like he got the shitburger ice, and then he went to college at Harvard early. Like when I say early, it's wasn't a 20-year-old freshman. You know, he went in there as a true 18-year-old, I believe. And college hockey, it's men. I mean, they're men. They're not boys. They're not kids. It's good league. It's good hockey, as we all saw with University of Denver this past year with their championship season. So it's a tough freaking league. And, you know, he's had, you know, so year the first couple years, and maybe a thing like this, you know, a development camp like this, you know, kind of helps booster your confidence a little bit. And, you know, then you're able to put it all together. And then maybe this is the big year, you know what I mean, for him, where he goes back, he has a more successful, when I say successful, is production-wise, you know, on at the NCAA level. And Harvard kind of went through a transition last year where they lost a lot of guys from the year before. They, you know, his freshman year, they had a really good team. Last year, they weren't very good, you know. So I'm not too sure what to expect this year for Harvard. But, you know, it's going to be his third year. And like I said, I think this is important for him to come here, make a good impression, which he's making one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is good. And then we'll see where it leads.
He's not ready,
For
but we've talked a little bit about Matt Davis. Everybody is obsessed with the guy. Obviously, he was unreal in the NCAA tournament for the Pioneers.
Yep.
But he's 23 already. The Avs are at 39 contracts right now.
They've
You're allowed-
got some room.
You're allowed 50.
Probably going to add
They
one or
will
two
be
more, but
at
yeah.
40 because Poland is an unsigned RFA. So whenever he gets his contract finished, they'll be at 40.
10 is still a ton of room.
I expect that a Cal Ritchie contract is
on
on,
the
its way at some
41,
point.
Add two more NHL or tweener guys, you get to 43.
You need a third goaltender, and I think that's the Ilya Nabokov conversation. Can they get him to
Come
rip up
over,
his KHL
yeah.
deal and come over right now and be
The starter
Colorado
for the
Eagle for them.
Eagles, yeah.
And if that's the case, like if they're able to get him to do that, Matt Davis doesn't really have a place.
Yeah, it's just hard to see how he and look, the Avs have liked what Trent Miner has done over the last couple of years. He's made good steps. Feels like he's earned one of those AHL jobs, even if it ends up being the backup job or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about signing Matt Davis to play him in the ECHL, which goalies do sometimes. but it gets tight fast.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not a friend of Matt Davis. I don't know him, do I like him? No, I didn't like him because he beat BU and he was really good in that game. So yeah, I don't like him that way. But yeah, he was fantastic. He was fantastic for that run he went on. He was unbelievable. Now, I think he was sitting right here and would be like, "Hey, what are your plans?" I think he would tell you like, "I'm going back for my senior year at DU." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's, and a deal or not, or NHL deal on the table or not. I think he would tell you that he's going back to BU, to graduate. And, obviously April's a different conversation, He's got his diploma and then he's done. He has no more years of eligibility left. And then maybe he's like, okay, abs or not, or whatever. If he has traction on an NHL contract, then, that's what he'll do. I think that's where he's going to go. I wouldn't anticipate him signing an NHL deal now,
Yep. A question in the Toyota chat here from Delta V, who says, I did not know that Nabokov could even do that. Can you explain it more? Is that what the Avs are trying to do? So,
Yeah.
In theory, any contract, if the team and player agree, can be terminated at any time. You see it happen more often in the NHL, really, where a guy gets put on unconditional waivers to get bought out, and then he usually ends up going to Russia. This is the inverse of that, where you're trying to get a guy from Russia over to North America. Russia historically has been pretty stingy about giving up on contracts and letting guys go. But in the last couple of years, and this offseason even, we've seen Michkov do it. And now apparently there's a bunch of smoke swirling about Chernyshov doing it too.
Chernyshov did it.
Oh, is it done? Okay, so
He was drafted, I think, first in the import draft.
I don't know on the junior side of it.
He's going to go play in the CHL next year.
Yeah. So, yeah, always an option at very least.
Yeah, and we saw it last year with Nikolai Kovalenko. They ripped up his contract. He signed his ALC with the Avs, and then the Avs loaned him back to his KHL team. A little bit different. It's a financial incentive there, and helps the Avs out.
Well, technicality where, because he was already signed, right? Oh, no, it doesn't matter. He's a draft pick. I was going to say he could play in the playoffs. Again, he got injured.
It was more about, I think, his signing age, because he would be he got a 2-year ELC.
Yeah.
And if they had waited until at the end of the year, it would have been a 1-year ELC. And
like I said, the technicalities played a part in it.
Yep.
All right. Apparently the Hejduk might work now, so let's hear from Marek Hejduk, maybe.
All right, I'm joined by Marek Hejduk at ALLCITY development camp. Just tell me a little bit about how it's going for you so far.
It's going great. It's been a lot of fun so far. We had a couple of skates today. We had a practice with Coach Bednar, so it was fast, a lot of fun. But other than that, it's been great. I got to meet a lot of new people here, a lot of good guys. It's been a blast.
Did it raise your heartbeat a little bit to be playing with Bednar?
A little bit, but I thought it was really cool. I know my dad knows him pretty well, so it was cool. It raised my heartbeat a little bit, but not too much.
And what was your reaction to getting the invitation to Avs camp?
Oh, I was thrilled. I was so excited. I remember Brian Willsey gave me a call, and I was at Harvard at the time, and I was thrilled, super excited. So I couldn't wait, and it's finally here, and I'm having a great time.
Did it feel special getting on the Avs jersey specifically, with everything you grew up around?
It felt really special. I think growing up, I went to a lot of Avs games, had my own Avs jersey and that kind of thing. But for some reason, this felt different. Felt cooler. Felt good to have that Avs emblem on, while skating and stuff. So it's great.
Is there any adjustment to altitude for you, or are you pretty used to it?
There's no adjustment. I've been training here for about 5 weeks now, ever since I got back from school. So no, there wasn't any adjustment, but definitely a little advantage. It's good.
What was it like getting to grow up and watch your dad play hockey here in this town?
It was awesome. I went to a lot of games. I wish I remember more. I think I was young. I think I was around 9 when he retired. So I remember his last years, but I wish I remember more. But it was always cool. I remember I was always excited to go to the center afterwards. If they won, I would get to go in the locker room and hang out with the guys there. So it was always fun.
And in navigating your own hockey journey and having a brother who also plays, how do you find your own identity along the way?
Like as compared to like my brothers, that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just with my twin brother, when we were younger, we were a lot more similar. Always doing the same things. I know, always on the same team up until juniors. So there was a little more tighter. But now that I think we're older, we spend some time apart from each other. So we got different interests. Different years at school. So we get to meet different people. So I think it's not necessarily that we're different, but I think as we grew older, there's just different things we look for, different people we meet. So yeah, we're different, but at the same time, I love having around.
And did that come up at all, having to stay true to yourself when you were navigating your path through hockey?
I think that's always something I've done. So it's not necessarily that I focused on that necessarily, but yeah, I think I've always done that a little bit, staying true to myself, to doing what I want to do. In this case, it's always been hockey, so been pursuing that. But yeah, and I never really had to fight that. Just kind of had that always.
And how would you describe your identity as a player?
My identity as a player, I would say, I'm a fast forward, competitive, shooter, good shot. And I think I do anything for the team to win.
What kind of influence did your dad have on you so
far? He had a massive influence ever since. When I was younger, he would always go on the ice with me and coach us. And then as I got older, he got even more involved in coaching. And then U13 year, U14 year, and U15 year at Thunder, he was the head coach. So he's always been heavily involved. Even now, when I've kind of moved on, he always sends me clips and stuff. Watches practices or games, sends me stuff to work on and stuff. So he's always been heavily involved, and I think it's been awesome.
Is he a tough disciplinarian?
Is he a tough disciplinarian? Yeah, at times. There's a lot of feedback at times, so I always urge him to lead with something positive first. But no, it's good. I think he's always got something. He's got so much hockey knowledge, so he just consume as much of it as possible. But, yeah, he's tough, but the right way tough.
And what are some benefits to having a twin brother playing hockey right alongside you?
I think one big benefit was just I was always comfortable going everywhere, different teams, different locker rooms. You always have your best bud with you, so that was always next to you. But I think just in general, it's just been a lot of fun. I think, like I said, I played every single year on a team with them, except for 3 when we were in juniors. So yeah, it's always been fun to have them around on the team, and I was super excited to have them journey last year.
You just completed your sophomore season. What were some challenges that you faced along the way, and how did you tackle them?
Some challenges, I think. Big challenges. We lost a lot of guys since freshman year. Some top dogs. So we were a young team. I think that was a big challenge. Young, especially with the ECAC, it's a big league, strong league. It's old. So I think me and especially the team in general, we were struggling to start just physically. Competing in that league, losing those guys, but I think we persevered. We had a lot of guys fill different roles, and helped us, and at the end really caught stride. So I'm really excited for next season. We haven't lost many guys. We got to go through the same group, so really excited. I think it's looking good.
And what about you do in a setting like this?
In a setting here, I think I was mainly. I think my scoring ability shot and establish that. Shoot the puck as much as I can.
And last year they did a Shark Tank activity for prospects. Did you guys do any team building activities like that?
A Shark Tank? No, we didn't do that. We did some team building with Adam, the psychologist. So some team building there, but other than that, we didn't do the Shark Tank. But it's been a lot of learning, a lot of stuff that I've been keeping in the back of my head for.
I did want to ask about the office resources that they give you. I know the training sometimes come up. How is that evolved to be more fun for you as players?
I think it's definitely involved, especially with the mental aspect. They brought in, like I said, Adam, and he talks about some mental aspect, which is just huge now. Especially today too, we did a little session on meditation, so that was fun. Eyes closed, try not to sleep, but. I think definitely the mental aspect of the game is massive now, and you see all these teams implementing their own guys, and different strategies to be able to do that.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Go to the cold.
So there you go. A little bit of the baby Hejduk talking
them.
at you. One of the two. Yeah. Is he the younger or older twin? I don't actually know.
David. I don't know.
Well, we'll never know.
Maybe Marek was. I think he was the first, yeah. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Hey, 50-50 shot.
Sure. Flip a coin.
He's the big baby.
We do have a bunch of super chats from y'all today. $10 from D-Rec, who says, thank you so much for all you've done, AJ. You're one of the main reasons I want to become a scout.
Eric should be that. He's actually done that job.
$500 from Daniel, or it's check bucks. I have no idea what the conversion is. That could be $2 or it could be $500. I have no idea. Since 2020, there have always been only two moments when I felt like the Avs are going to eat the whole NHL alive. Let's go. Number one, 29 flying through the neutral zone with fury in every slide. Number two, AJ ranting. I will miss you on the pod, man. Smiley face.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He then has a chain of them here, another 500 check bucks. It's going to be different now without AJ, so I just wanted to thank you for the last 4 years. Every Avs joy was multiplied to you, and every Avs frustration went away faster thanks to you. We are a really spoiled fam watching number 29, 8, and 96 covered. He continues on.
Covered by you.
Yeah, covered by you. I still can't grasp it, having such an amazing team with such amazing coverage at the same time/era. You have equaled the stars you cover in your efforts, and it's been magical. All the best to the new coverage beginning, or the new beginning, I guess, to all of you. Go Avs, go. At least can tell the kids one day it was there. I was there in September 2023 when AJ Hafley discovered his memorable Shakespeare rant, a prophecy that came true. You have been the Fantastic Four of NHL coverage to me, the DNVR crew. And then he says, I almost forgot about Tiff, Fantastic Five, of course. I love the saxophone groove you accidentally drop on live every now and then. It's great. Hope you guys at least acquire someone similarly on fire when AJ signed, quote unquote, elsewhere. That was that like 2,500 check bucks. That's the biggest number we've had on the show ever, probably, even if I don't know what the actual value is. But and then $50 from Delta V, who says, have some 4th of July drinks on me. Your entire team is outstanding. Go Avs, go.
Thank you for all of the kind words. It's flattering, and it's been a lot of love over the last couple of days. I'm obviously excited, but I'm sad knowing that tomorrow's kind of that last show for a bit, and a lot of memories sitting in this chair, the Godfather chair, as Eric has called it in the past.
Yep.
But it's time for somebody else to sit in it, so I'm excited for what's next, and we'll always be appreciative of what has been.
Yep. Good place to leave it. We are going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's show will be in the late evening because the Avs Dev Camp is doing a scrimmage at 4 p.m. Mountain. So we'll probably be live on the show 6:30 p.m., 7 p.m., somewhere in that range, depending on how long the scrimmage goes. But we'll still have coverage of it for you, so be sure to tune in tomorrow. Also, go check out all of our other content, whether it be on YouTube. You can like and subscribe here. That helps us out a ton. Or head over to thednvr.com to read all of the stuff that AJ has written. You can go check that stuff out, too, and consider supporting us by becoming a diehard. That's it. We appreciate y'all. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.